Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of Token Games Podcast. I'm your host and referee, Zach Stat Pearson, and today I'm joined by the 9,000th officer because he killed the last one, 01 Officer Cops.
Hey, how you doing? St. Patrick's Day. Don't get too drunk.
And straight out of Michigan, an oldie but a goodie, metaphorically speaking. Actually, I'm not sure. I think you're older than me. I don't know. We have a returning, like it's my fault. We have a returning podcaster by the name of Ye Old Fiona.
Love all the age ones, by the way. Must know my birthday's coming up.
Yeah, but I don't actually remember your age. I always remember the date, but not the year. I don't know why. That's not even just with you.
I'll be 30, thank you.
Oh, never mind. I'm older.
I appreciate the age jokes, sir.
You're welcome for those age jokes. Okay. Officer, why don't you go and run us through topics 1 through 3 right quick?
Huh? Now you're gonna read them off this time?
I was asking you to do that and also, be the first person.
Alright.
I normally do read all the questions at once, but, I'm also doing shit for a friend.
Well, top 1. Devil May Cry 5 was initially said to have been a complete game to the public by its development team. However, in less than 48 hours, data miners found many incomplete or unfinished things, which would indicate that some, if not all of the items, were made to be upcoming DLC. Do you think it was all a lie? Or did the developers misinterpret the question? Assume they they meant, is the game being sold in chunks?
It's not as hard when you have to do it.
What do you mean?
Reading
I've
up.
got a mental autocorrect.
First off, I think any functioning human should have that. I'm just saying that, it's not as easy to read off all the time when you're the person that has to read them off and do them immediately after.
Hey man, I always have decent grammar. Alright, well, I think, this, they clearly were being a little less than honest.
You can hear him.
They
Okay,
got
right?
all this incomplete stuff.
Okay.
Though, I guess we'll really have to wait to see what the DLCs are before we can properly determine if it's stuff they cut out of the game just to be sold as DLC, or if it's something more innocent that is actually adding to the game. Okay, I'm sorry. I can't keep a straight face for that. No, it's probably not. This is likely stuff they cut out of the game specifically to sell you as DLC. I can't say I'm surprised. At least with the AAA industry being what it is. Alright. Topic 2. The next generation and current generation of laptops are leaning towards hybridization. Most notably, all future Alienware laptops either feature upgradeable desktop components or external connection for graphics cards of any size and type. Do you think the video game world should consider... What the heck? Okay, I think I know what you're trying to say, Garrus.
Oh, do tell.
Should they consider this a good thing? As far as I see it, yeah. The big limitation with laptops since they started becoming a thing is that you can't really do a whole lot in the way of upgrading them. If they're giving you more options of upgrading, like, hey, you can actually change your graphics card, well, in that case, okay, there's nothing wrong with that. That's really cool. They're willing to provide more upgrading capabilities for laptops. That's really good in my book. And topic 3. With Epic Games having been called out about 3 or 4 days ago for taking private Steam user information among a lot of other data their launcher honestly should not be touching.
Yep.
With them having been called out for using their blatant using their Epic Games launcher, they are once again in the center of a shitstorm, having just gotten over the one, I think it was just about a month ago with Metro Exodus.
I'd say like 2 weeks ago.
With what has come to light, do you think Epic Games is going to backpedal on their intrusive launcher program stealing of users' sensitive personal data? Or are they going to say, fuck it, and charge forward with reckless abandon? Well, as far as I see it, yeah, I think they're just going to say, oh, they're going to tell people, oh no, that's not what's actually happening. What we're actually doing is this. While it might be making, like, all that information, it's not sending it to us. Don't worry. This is actually what they, from what I understand of it, what they actually told people is, oh, we don't get any information on your Steam's friends list or any from your Steam account unless you transfer over willingly your information, because your Steam friends might be on the Epic Games launcher.
I just love that voice you're using for that. I just love that voice you're using to say that shit in. That is like the perfect homicidal maniac voice. Oh, I'm not crazy. He just ran into my knife.
I'll have to keep that in mind in the future. But yeah, I think they're going to do a slight bit of backpedal. Maybe for a short while, remove some of the intrusive features of their little games launcher. Then, maybe a few months down the line, they'll sneak it back in, hopefully under the radar. Since most people will have, at least in this day and age, they would have forgotten about this little debacle. So, yeah, I think that's how it's going to be. And I guess that's it for me.
Okay. Let me slide on in then. All right, so I got a very unique perspective on number 1. First off, let me start off by saying that trusting an entertainment company is not something people should do lightly. But the problem is we do. Oh, I love Disney. They're the perfect company because they made movies I liked as a kid. What? No. That doesn't make them perfect. But you see, Capcom is special. They're so disconnected and disjointed from their own properties. Half the time, you don't know if something is an upper echelon decision or the developer themselves is just a jackass. Now, I could go on a long story tale about the lure of the only person who's been in charge of developing Devil May Cry being the only person that wants to basically get rid of Dante. Trust me, I have video proof, I have written proof, and I'm one of the first people to compile this shit anyway. But we're just going to focus on 5. Because the way 5 was handled is a little bit unique. Everywhere you go, the main developers, which is Hideki Itsuno and a guy by the name of Matthew Walker, kept being asked, is this a complete game? Is this a complete game? Here's the problem with something like that. That's a double entendre situation. Asking somebody, is their game a complete game when they're selling it to you, could mean, did you divide this game up on purpose and you're going to sell me the ass end of it later for DLC? Or it could mean, did you actually have enough time to finish this game? And did you put everything in there that's supposed to be in there for the game to, you know, be coherent and also be considered a complete product on your end as developers? So in that sense, and only in that sense and in that regard, I honestly feel like they answered the wrong question the right way, which is a very rare thing for anybody to do in real life and in business. Fuck was that noise? I think that they were telling people this game wasn't incomplete, fractured, or piecemeal because there's been a long-held rumor held up by the internet, aka YouTube, that Devil May Cry 4 was an incomplete game. But it actually wasn't. But the problem we're facing now is that maybe the development staff has just gotten tired of saying it, so only the actors who worked on it have been letting them know, no, this game is actually complete. So they could have thought people meant, did you cut the game's story up in half, or were you not able to finish the story, and are you going to release it in a fractured state? And they could have been saying no. However, this is Capcom, goddammit. So I think they were finished with the primary game, and this is just my opinion, and they were making DLC bullshit because they knew, or maybe they didn't think going in they was going to need to put in other playable characters. You just made 5 people playable in the last fucking game, which sold over 1 million copies in 2015. What the fuck you think? You know? But hey, that's just the theory. So I'm looking at it from the perspective of they were going to add these extra bells and whistles. They got told, fuck all those bells and whistles. There wouldn't be enough time because we want to release this game when we want to, because that's one thing people forget about development with a video game. If you work for a big company, you don't pick when it comes out. And if you get an extension, you better pray to your favorite god that they slay the investors to the point where they're too scared of dying from supernatural divinity to want to change the release date. That's how little control they have. I don't know why people think that they're absolutes. Same with fucking presidents. Presidents are not kings. They can't just say shit and then do shit. The only thing presidents in this country have ever had direct say-so and control over without anybody else's consent is what the fuck they eat in the morning. And also, damn, what the fuck was that? I'm about to look into that later. And also, foreign diplomacy. Everything else they got to go through somebody for. To be fair, you want it that way. You don't want a king and president to be no different from another.
Nobody wants a dictator.
Yeah, but everyone wants someone to act like a dictator. It's one of those things I've always noticed. It's weird. So basically, we've discovered Virgil being pretty much playable in the game, even having his own slot. We've discovered, what was that other thing? Oh yeah, that there's a ladies' night DLC where pretty much every character that was female and was ever playable becomes playable again. And they haven't released any official statement. So I don't trust Capcom, but I think this was a genuine miscommunication. So in this case, and only in this case, Capcom, I give you the benefit of the doubt. You don't have to hold this L, but you need to be a little bit more clear and concise. Now, when it comes to the next generation of laptops being hybridized, and do I think that, the consoles world should consider, having interchangeable, upgradable parts? I'm all the fuck for it. Look, let's be honest. The only thing wrong with the Switch is the fact that you can't upgrade internal hardware. The dock doesn't do anything except reduce latency when it's plugged in and allow for a display of a higher resolution. But if the game developers don't put in that higher resolution, all they're really doing is locking in the frame rate. We already know because, snitches and Nintendo indirectly saying that they're going to release an updated version of the Switch that's going to be able to do something better. Why the fuck ain't we doing that with everybody? I don't know who here all had a Nintendo 64. Fiona, I'm pretty sure you had a Nintendo 64 at least.
Yeah.
But if you open that little front slot that no one knew about because the advertisements never brought it up, you could put in a slightly bigger RAM and audio card that made games perform better and sound better. Even if
there were certain games that could only be played with that thingy.
I think it was Donkey Kong 64 was one of them. Yeah.
And Majora's Mask.
Yeah.
Oh, that one too? Huh.
Yes. If I remember correctly. It was Donkey Kong for sure. Some of them upgraded things like Gauntlet.
Killer Instinct got a
upgraded.
sound upgrade.
I believe Majora's Mask though. Absolutely.
And there's probably a list online somewhere. But anyways, the way shit's going, we already done it. Also, only released in Japan, Nintendo had a disc version of the Nintendo 64. It literally stacked on the bottom of the 64. It was called Nintendo 64 disc drive. When you got the GameCube, if you literally flipped over the fucking GameCube, there was a bunch of ports, and only one ever got used, of where you could add later on upgrades or modifications to the system. People don't realize, but Nintendo was the first video game console to have DLC. Then it was Sega Dreamcast with Phantasy Star Online, which the sequel has now entered its 6 years into development. Oh my God, I don't know how, but they found a way to make me re-fall in love with Phantasy Star. They actually have fucking, what was it? They're on their 6th anniversary year, and they're releasing a class that's never even existed in any prior iteration of Phantasy Star Online. But I digress. There's no reason other than the fact that people don't think that customers are going to want to pay for it, or alternatively, they might just think that they don't know what the price point should be for those accessories that enhance the game, and they're scared to figure it out. Because if you stop and think about it, one of the major things tablet developers said is that we could always make our tablets better, but we're scared to leave the product budget for consumers of $800. Unless you're Apple, because, Apple likes being scummy with their shit, because, they love greed so much. Yeah, I know. Oh, hey, let's have people make our shit in a foreign country so much that they want to kill themselves. Oh, shit, we got caught. Hey, somebody put up a net to catch them. Fucking assholes. So, anyways. Yeah, I think it should totally happen. Because it's just a matter of people not being scared of backlash. Because it's not uncommon. Every generation, there's always an accessory that the industry thinks is going to be the shit and then turns into plain old shit. Case in point, Xbox iToy or iCamera. Anything about the Xbox camera, web camera. That shit always drowns in the water.
Oh man, that was a hilarious shitstorm back in the day.
The advertisement for when the thing came out was literally different from any game you played. So basically, they lied to you before it came out. It's fucking hilarious. Of course, I saw that shit rolling downhill and I moved out the way and got some Lysol, Plus, everyone knows I've never been the Xbox guy. I will buy a Microsoft PC in a heartbeat, but I just can't fuck with Xbox. It's weird. It's just fucking weird. Now, going into topic 3. All right, this needs a little bit of clarification, or rather, this has been a technically ongoing fucked up situation. Steam is basically getting competition. They didn't have it before when it came to virtual distribution, but they're getting it now. and they get their asses toe up like a fucking porn star who just had anal. That's the best that's the best thing I got to say about that. These mugs literally have gone out of their way to not give a shit about being better at how they approach their consumers. Remember, 5 years ago, or hell, maybe even 3, these mugs had to literally be sued by the entire country of Australia just to have actual refund policy on the books. And even then, they really only enforce it in countries that make them have a refund policy. Steam has been around for what, 20 years? Damn near?
Has it been that long?
I don't know. Somebody Google that shit. But my point is, Steam has been around for over a fucking decade. They make billions of dollars every single half year, if not sooner. This is just a lesson in futility. You can't teach greedy people to be humble unless you get the law involved. It doesn't just apply to politics. It applies to just
like 16 years.
Goddamn, Steam is 16 years old. Holy shit. They had a 16-year streak of no competition. But here's the problem. They're fucking up their own consumers now, and I don't mean Steam. Epic Games wants to compete with Steam because they don't even like how little money they get back from Steam. But in the grand scheme of things, you gotta understand, Steam is a big place. They don't do one country. They do every functioning country where there's digital entertainment. So they're gonna need a bigger piece of that pie. But at the same time, they also openly said we're not gonna do any form of regulation by a human being that involves changing what goes on their stores and their websites. They released games where literally the characters could not do anything except fall through the floor, the walls, and the ceilings. And the only time that they actually do something is when it got national attention or it's just gotten popular for being shitty and being on Steam.
If you get the chance, y'all should look up something called Rape Day.
Oh yeah, I heard about that. I was openly avoiding making that a topic, but we're just lightly going to gloss over it. So this dude who was developing games of a sexual nature decided he wanted to make a game where one of the things you can do, or the main thing your character can do, is rape something or someone. It had a gameplay point to it, as disturbing as that may be. I know I'm in my apartment alone and it's quiet, but it feel like it got a little bit quieter. But here's the funny part. This dude openly acknowledged that his game is not really meant to be on a PG-13 game distribution site, and he's better off on an adult website. And in hindsight, he should probably release it privately on his own website.
I wouldn't really call Steam PG-13.
Yeah, because they got a lot of fuck up shit. But my whole point is that the developers even acknowledging, hey, this ain't the best place for my shit. So imagine my surprise when Steam didn't do shit about it and fuck all about it until this dude got, attention for being on Steam. So the way I look at it, look, you are always going to get competition, Steam. But here's the thing. Now it's Epic Games has turned into a matter of lesser of two evils. They want to take your information and then they don't want to tell you what they want to do with it. But if you read their terms of service and go through their shit, they always say, we promise not to use it for malicious purposes. That don't mean shit. That does not mean shit. Because first off, none of these people that use your information, they never call you up or send an automated message or even an email letting you know this is what we specifically want to use your shit for. Is this okay with you? They want to do the catch-all on the terms of service. So realistically, I don't know who's the good guy and the bad guy in this situation. All I know is Epic Games pisses me off because they won't even tell you if they use DRM, which slows down every game ever. Steam pisses me off.
Which, by the way, it's at least confirmed it's Epic Games. Yeah, they're always online DRM. None of their games you can play offline.
Which is stupid, even if it's a single-player game. Someone just has to sit over you and watch you like a parent, making sure you don't flip to a porn channel that they're paying for or some shit. But here we are in 2019 and some basic shit, that doesn't so much make you a courteous producer of entertainment, but just look like a decent human being is optional if, you know, investors say so.
Specifically, if China says so, because they're the ones who own Epic Games.
Because, you know,
A company called Tencent. Look it up sometime.
little my ass Tencent is like literally the second or third largest gaming, publishing, developing. I know, but not everyone else does. Entity on this goddamn planet, but they always have the smallest fucking amount of shit at E3. It's fucking scary. It's fucking scary. Because you know that no matter what happens, if China tells a big ass stock obsessed company, hey, do something that's probably legal, they're gonna fucking do it. Even if it damages their own country. And that's one of those fucked up things. Like, it's not even a stereotype or something racist at some point. I don't think anybody who's Chinese that owns an American company is up to no good or trying to steal personal information. This company is literally doing it, and they got caught. Man, it's just really frightening that we live in a day and age where people can just decide if they give a shit about their own countrymen based on if they get money. But to be fair, when was it ever not like that? Maybe the 1700s? I don't know. All right. That being said, Fiona, you ready?
Barely.
Do you want me to tell you what the topics are in the order, or you just need time to put your words together?
I know it's the DMC one for the first one, so let's start there.
Okay, go ahead.
I have never actually played a DMC game.
That's perfectly fine. It's just about a matter of, do you think the game is complete or not? Since, you know, we're finding all this shit in the code.
If you guys are finding all of it in the code, it's obviously not complete. Period. Just like Final Fantasy VII, they're going to release it in segments. So they might do it for DMC too. I don't know. I haven't seen any trailers for it or watched any reviews or anything, so...
You're one of the very, very few people. Because that game got spoiled so hard, people stopped going to YouTube for a week. Because you could see thumbnails with spoilers.
Really?
Yes, I know, because I got fucked. I had access to people who could play the game. I just wanted to know, was Virgil going to be a secret DLC character or going to be built into the game? They told me it was inconclusive. So I went and watched a game theory video. I think it was about Pikachu or something. And in the middle thumbnail was the final boss fight against Virgil.
Are you serious?
Yes.
You don't do that. Seriously, they were begging people not to do that for the Kingdom Hearts game.
To be fair, it's kind of hard to spoil Kingdom Hearts because the shit don't make sense.
Right. Jesus Christ, believe me, I know. But it's probably not complete because they want to make money out of it. They want to milk the franchise like they do with every other franchise. I mean, I don't know what more I can say about that other than...
No, I mean, you don't have to. You say what you feel. That's the whole point. But to be fair, you ain't wrong. I mean, let's not forget, Street Fighter V, besides coming out without a fucking arcade mode, has over, 200 pieces of DLC?
200?
Oh, that ain't shit. You should have been here when we was talking about Dead or Alive 5, like before 6 came out. Dead or Alive 5 has over 1,000 pieces of DLC. On purpose.
They're cheap DLC, right?
What?
It's cheap DLC, right? Like pennies on the dollar?
Yeah, like, oh, $2 or $3, I'm gonna get you this outfit. Or, hey, buy all these outfits in a bundle for characters you don't use and paying $70 even though you only wanted 3 of these outfits. They have DLC. Oh yeah, the new game, Dead or Alive 6. Dead or Alive 6 in particular even has a season pass where they tell you you will probably not get all of the shit that we release, and it costs more than the game. That's funny.
Oh god, don't remind me of that crazy shit.
Ugh.
$90 for a $60 game season pass. And then they tell you you will not get everything probably.
That's disgusting. A season pass should unlock everything that's available right then and there. Period. That's how it's been with every game I've ever had. Is you get the season pass, you get everything.
My favorite thing about the season pass bullshit now is that fucking these companies purposely, they don't even want to release a different version of the game that has all the DLC in it, you know, like they did not even 7 years ago. Now it's, oh, if you don't buy it, fuck you.
Right. Oh, we can't make money on you? That sucks.
Yeah. All right, so how you feel about
Laptop.
topic 2? Oh, that's right. Yeah, that was topic 2. Whoops. No, wait, that was topic 1. Sorry. Yeah, we're on topic 2. About the, do you think that, you know, systems should be hybridized or have upgradable components or, you know, frown against that shit?
Everything should be upgradable, period.
Even husbands.
Because when it gets outdated, it slows down, whether it be by the manufacturer
or biologically.
Right. Because with iPhones, Apple will slow down your system to make you buy an upgraded version.
Oh yeah, they actually released, it took them like I think close to 6 years, but they actually released a statement about that. Okay, so officially their reasoning for altering how slow and fast your old iPhones go when the new ones come out is because they have to use a lot of resources to allow people to do the day one update of the operating systems and shit like that. So they had two choices. They had don't do day one operating system fixes and shit and bug corrections, which could lead to a lot of people complaining about the phone from day one at the cost of, you know, extra money and possibly reviews. Or two, do that and then, you know, slow everybody else's shit down. But here's my favorite part about all of that. They purposely chose not to say something for a long ass time. So they knew that they were going to get money from rich idiots who said, well, my phone's old now. Guess I better throw it away and get a new one. No, I'm just like, you look greedy either way. I don't care if you were trying to do the right thing. You found a way to look greedy doing the right thing. That's impressive. I'm not going to lie. That's like the only time I compliment Apple.
I stay away from upgrading the system because upgrading it actually slows it down.
Or you could just get a Droid, but hey, that's just me.
I am seasoned to Apple, unfortunately.
If you get Google Drive, you can put all of your contacts on Google so you don't lose shit. All I'm saying.
Oh, I know. It's just, I've had an iPhone since the 3. I've had several 6s.
God damn. Why?
Because I like the security of Apple, but not the lack of customization. I just deal with it.
If you gotta jailbreak your phone just to be able to get customization, there's already an issue. That's the way I look at it.
But laptops being customizable, absolutely, they need to be. Because of how the world is turning these days, everything has to be able to be upgraded to the most current thing. Otherwise, you're outdated in 6 months or less.
Now, how do you feel about video game systems? What do you think they should do to basically usher in slow or fast upgradable video game systems and shit like that?
Sell you like side cartridges, not cartridges, like little add-on pieces that you literally just plug in, it downloads, and you pull it out. There you go.
External devices.
You're right.
Like catch-all terms. But how would you figure out the pricing for shit like that? Because you know, you don't want your consumer to feel like, oh, you're cheated if you only bought the base piece. What about also buying, you know, this other piece? You know, something like that. How do you make the consumer feel like they're not cheated if they don't get it? Or how do you price that shit? That's the scary $1 million question right there.
You give it a base price of something low, and you say, all right, this is what's up to date right now. But there's no guarantee for it being up to date in 6 months. So in 6 months, check back with us. And there's probably going to be a piece that you need to put on your accessory. For, say, $20, $30, that shit adds up.
Okay, fair enough.
For something, you know, thumbnail size.
Got you.
You have to do it every 6 months.
All right.
But it's worth it in the end because you keep the speed, you keep everything going the way it's supposed to be going. I mean, I'm okay with that as long as it's not that small of a time increment, or if you can still operate while underpowered.
Makes sense. Now, with that being said, I'm just gonna regloss over topic 3 because, that one got a little bit of a rewrite. With Epic Games having been called out about 3 or 4 days ago for taking private information from Steam users, among other data they honestly shouldn't have even messed with, their blatant spyware, also known as the Epic Games Launcher program, are once again in the center of a shitstorm. Basically, they got caught backpedaling on their intrusive launchers stealing data. Meaning they got caught, called out, said they weren't going to do it, and now guess what they got caught doing?
The thing they're not supposed to be doing.
So, that being said, do you think that even though, you know, there's a little bit more security and common sense with how the Epic Game Store is run, would you actually use it, or would you trust them, or what do you think they should do to actually fix the situation indefinitely?
They should, one, write a public apology and actually say, we know we did wrong, shame on us, let us make it up to the consumers by promising for real this time that we will never actually do this again, and here is how we are gonna hold to that promise with compensation out of our pocket. Here's free, I don't know, membership for the next year. I don't know who what does Epic Games sponsor? What games do they make?
Well, it's not so much about their own material as they're trying to be like Steam and grab everybody and get them to come to their store. But even when they get, you know, third-party developers to go onto their platform for selling their games digitally, they're throwing in adware and spyware that, you know, shouldn't have even been there because the developers didn't even put them in there. But actually,
Steam ain't doing that.
yeah, also, actually, Officer, what are some games that Epic Games make besides, you know, the Epic engine? Didn't they do Crackdown 3?
Let me check.
Yeah, but Epic's been making games for a long time. They've got their own in-house engine. And they just said, you know what? Hey, we're going to have our own distribution center. Anybody can come join her. We're cheaper than Steam. And then they immediately took that and abused that information. Damn shame. They were riding a roller coaster. They were going up and then they just went down hard. Much like Bill Cosby's career.
This is true. One day he was on the media, next day he was in jail.
Epic Games they've been around for longer than I thought.
Epic Games has been around for damn near, 19 years? Last I heard.
Add another 10 to it.
Fuck, they're damn near 30 years old. Shit.
What did they make?
What do they make, you know, that's recent?
Even not recent. I'm not very up to date in anything.
That's what they made recently. Unreal Tournament.
Well, yeah.
The Unreal Engine?
Yeah. Epic Games is weird. You think they would call it the Epic Engine. Like, the name's right there.
So Unreal Engine, they make a lot of good stuff.
They made... Oh, shit. They made Fortnite. They made Gears of War. They made, fucking...
Fortnite is kind of what they're known for.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean she's played it though.
I've played
Ah, true.
Fortnite in beta.
Gears of War, Fortnite, Unreal Tournament.
That's where I saw it. Gears of War. The husband plays Gears.
Oh, that's one word for him. Fuck. They've been making games since like 1992. That's probably because they mostly fuck around with the PC. So most of these titles I never even came across, except maybe Overkill. Pretty sure I've heard of Overkill.
I've not heard of Overkill.
It's old. It's very, very old. Overkill, the first one was like in 1992 or 93. Okay, so you think a public apology and removal of anybody who wants them to fuck with that shit. All right, well, that's fair enough. All right, well, this is kind of a toss-out question. There's no right or wrong answer, but I'm curious. Okay, so you may or may not have heard, Fiona, but there's an idiot trying to further clog up the console space with something called the Mad Box being made by Mad Gear Games, which it's weird. They were never popular enough to be a household name, but now they want to make a video game system. Well, my question to you is between Mad Gear, Sony, and Xbox, who you think's next system is going to come out first?
First?
Yes.
Microsoft, Sony, or this new guy?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of talk of the PS5 right now,
True.
but I haven't seen any release dates on it yet. But isn't Sony always before Xbox?
Sometimes. Like when they got to 360 and PS3, now this is kind of fucked up. They went to the same developer for the system, but once Microsoft realized, oh shit, Sony was here before us, they rushed their shit out of the door just to be able to release their system before the PS3.
So they're usually neck and neck.
Sometimes.
I'm gonna have to go with Sony.
Fair enough. All right, officers. Second verse, same as the first. Who you think between these three systems gonna have their next iteration come out next? Madbox, which no, I don't think I've ever heard anyone care about. Sony or Xbone?
I'm thinking probably Sony.
What makes you say that?
Well, at this point, it's mostly just a random guess. Because as I recall, both Sony and Microsoft both said, yeah, we're working on our next console. Expect it soon. Trademark.
Fair enough. As far as I'm concerned.
Googled Madbox and there's been nothing on Google since the end of January. Anything about Madbox at all.
You've just made Matt a very happy man.
I am amused.
Like, I'm not even clicking any of it. It's IGN, January 4th, CNET, January 4th, PC World, January 7th, GT Planet, January 14th, Polygon, January 2, and GameSpot, January 28th. There's nothing more about them.
That's like bragging about your dick, but then when you get a chance to show it off, you immediately say it was cold that night.
Right? It's like, yeah, let's
Excuses.
have sex tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't have a pinky dick, and, you know, I'm not 2 inches from the floor. Personally, I like being in the middle, and when I say a middle, I mean just above average, because, A, I can fit more people. That being said, I'm not a man-ho, so, eh.
This one, Madbox console design chosen looks fake.
Well, I know what you're talking about. It's the one that's got the ugly little bug on the side.
I didn't even click it. I'm just looking at titles right now. Let's see here.
Okay, so Mad Box's box was fucking hilarious when it came out. When they first showed off what the box was going to look like, which they told the person not to do, the finalized design, it had that ugly ass bug on the side of the box, and this console was shaped like an M and it stood up straight. And it was fucking hilarious. Like if you just took off the bug, it would look 10 times better. But then they got rid of that for a new version. It's shaped like an M, but it lays flat and it looks like it came out of Tron. I like that one a lot more.
That's the one I'm looking at.
Yeah. If I buy this system, I think I'm literally going to buy it because I don't think it's going to sell. And then 10 years down the line, I can sell it as a rare system.
I mean, I guess that's one way to do that.
Oh my God. You just know somebody's going to invest heavy on this system and buy all the shit when it comes out, only to feel fucked like 6 months later. Remember the N-Gage? I remember the N-Gage.
I vaguely remember it.
Okay.
Did you message me on my other account just now?
Not just now. But the N-Gage was a video game system that was made by fucking Nokia. But they literally got everything you could possibly get wrong. First off, they wanted to charge $300 for it, and it was a handheld. I'm sorry, they had a $200 and a $30 version. They didn't use action buttons. They used a number pad.
What?
Yes. Go look it up. Nokia N-Gage. And you couldn't change the memory
I've heard of
card
that, yeah.
and the game without taking the fucking battery out. Then they made a newer version, and it was only one price, and nobody ever heard from it again.
Though.
And nobody ever heard from it again. Oh my God.
And they were never heard from again.
You can get it for $100 on most places right now.
Fucking hilarious.
Was it like a one-hit wonder?
No, that implies that it was actually a hit at some point.
Well, it says here release date October 7th, 2003. Units sold 3 million as of July 30, 2007.
Most of those 3 million weren't even sold in America.
I believe it.
Oh my God.
It's called a PDA. Ah.
Anyways, well, with that being said, this has been another exciting episode of Token Games Podcast. I will see you guys when I see you guys.